welcome to the November edition of Love Oadby TV, and it's our first birthday.
It is, yes.
We've made it a whole
Happy
12
birthday.
months. Yeah, no, it's exciting, isn't it?
We've got cake.
Well, I was waiting for a cake to be made.
I wish I
because
hadn't said that.
last Christmas we went to Mustard, which unfortunately isn't with us in the Oadby Town Centre, and I bought you a cake mix, and I was hoping you might have even made it today.
Yeah, I think it's gone past its sell-by date now.
Okay.
I'll make a proper one from home. A
So-
freshly made one as well. There you go.
So
you have my word on
in our
camera
first
again.
episode, we had Neil O'Brien, the MP.
We did.
And we've been able to trump that this time.
Yeah.
We really have, because we are joined by Oadby Plastics, who were partly responsible for making sure that Oadby got its Christmas tree
Very much
last
so,
year.
yes.
So
which we were very grateful for.
They were the only company that answered my phone call.
And look what we got though.
And look what we got.
Yeah.
We've got a 20-foot tree. And we're going to be doing the same again this year. So more to come on that very shortly. But we're joined by Neil. Hi, Neil.
Hi, morning.
And we're joined by Daniel, who's promised to play a part in this edition of the November edition. And we're joined by Nima. Morning. So, and I understand that you've been making spring rolls?
Yeah.
Spring rolls.
Spring
Yeah,
rolls.
for Diwali.
For
Yeah, for
Diwali.
Diwali.
Fantastic.
We didn't get any though, did we?
No.
A bit like the cake.
Bit like
You might get some of ours, depends how this goes.
Okay, we'll see at the end, shall
Yeah.
we?
Be
See what
nice,
happens.
be
Yeah.
nice to us or not.
Yeah.
But we're not essentially in Oadby though, are we, at the minute?
No, we're not.
But we are at Oadby Plastics.
Yes.
And we're with the owner of Oadby Plastics.
One of the directors.
One of the
yes. One
directors of
and
Oadby
shareholders,
Plastics.
yeah.
And Neil, Daniel, sorry, what's your role
So
there?
my role is IT and marketing.
Oh, okay.
Been
So,
here 7 years.
so when things go wrong, you fix
Any
it.
Neil
IC,
shouts at
any
me.
IC issues.
Yeah.
I get shouted.
Does
You're the man.
that
Yes.
relate to anyone in Oadby? They can pick up the phone. And...
Not probably anybody in the Oadby area. So in our company is fine.
And Nima, what's your role?
I'm the marketing assistant, so I manage all the social media
Oh,
platforms.
we've brought the creative brains to
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
to it. So, well, we're going to find out a little bit more because there's some exciting things going on at Oadby Plastics, certainly this year and into next year, and what it's all about. So we're going to find out a little bit more, but we're going to let you know what's exactly happening in and around the Oadby area, because there's lots of things going on as there was this time last year.
Yeah, it's always busy.
It always is. So the first one is with the Oadby Owls Football Club. The academy is back for the 2019-2020 season. So that started on the 7th of September, but they're still taking on new boys and girls wanting to join. Get out there to get some exercise. The coaching is done by qualified minimum level 1 coaches. And that is done on a Saturday. Registration is 9:15 to 9:45. The subscription is £30 for the season. Each session costs just as much as £3, and it aims to finish around kind of 11:15, 11:30, and that's at Beecham College, where there is parking at the actual college itself, so you can go along and watch your children practice. So a great way, run by a great guy, Haf, who we met him on the Oadby Light Switch On.
Yeah.
Really is a great community guy, puts a lot into the Oadby area, so I'm sure you know a lot about Haf and what he does. But if you do want more information, look for the Oadby Owls Football Club on Facebook, and they will be able to help you and point you in the right direction, so you can pop along and take your little ones along.
Fabulous. And then we've got Magical Diwali, which is a fantastic magic show, which is due to take place on the 2nd of November at Manor High School. It is during sort of lunchtime afternoon, so it's between 12 and 5. There's lunch included. That takes place between 12 and 2, and then the actual magic show takes place between 2 and 5. Definitely worthwhile coming along. The gentleman's actually from India, who does the magic itself, and it's £25 for adults, and it looks like children between over the age of 12, and children between the age of 5 and 12 are £15 each. Any child under the age of 5 goes free. So they have said that demand is very high for this, and seats will be allocated very much on a first come, first served basis. So you need to get in quick on that.
Yeah.
So definitely worthwhile going along. We've then got Rainbows Fireworks Spectacular, which is being held at Leicester Racecourse. These things are coming around really quickly, don't you think?
But it's always a good event there.
Yeah, definitely. That's Saturday the 2nd of November, starting from 5:30. Advance tickets, £7 each. On the night, they're actually £11, so it's definitely worthwhile booking in advance. Family ticket is £25, and again on the night, £35. So again, save yourself some money and book in advance.
And obviously it's supporting Rainbows as well.
It is, which is massive.
Yeah.
So definitely.
Local children's hospice.
Yeah, and there's a live performance from Eva Rose, apparently, as well. CBBC star.
I would like to say that with my 9-month-old I would know who Eva Rose is, but I probably need to watch a bit more CBBC.
Yeah, you and me both. So
Yeah.
I've just said it. I actually don't know who it is, but there we go. Now, just off the back of that as well, and this is just probably this is quite close to my heart because I have 3 Labradors myself. But please remember your pets and your animals on firework night. My dog, I have 2 dogs that are actually okay with fireworks, but one that actually gets very scared. So it's really important to keep them safe, to keep them in the house, make them a little bit of a safe haven, what we sometimes people call it a little bit of a den where they can go if they are scared. And somebody actually did say to me, and I know people are very prone, if the dog is scared, to keep telling them it's okay. It's almost like when you do that, though, you're actually telling the dog it's okay to be scared. So leave them be, just make sure they're okay, but let them go where they need to go just to get away from it, because it's not nice to see, particularly, I have to say. So
some brilliant advice there.
Yeah, and then this is just to raise
continuing the dog theme.
the dog theme. This is just to raise awareness at the moment, which I think is what we're trying to do in and around Oadby, of people with assistance dogs. So obviously guide dogs is a very obvious one, but there are also other types of assistance dogs that are around as well. So there are assistance dogs for people who are deaf. They all wear different coloured coats, and I'm sure if you access the website you can find out a little bit more about
maybe
that.
even get a cameraman to put some little pictures of
Of the different coloured assistance dogs. So there's also support dogs for physically disabled adults. So obviously there are signs in the shop window. We've got one at Knightsbridge now as well, where obviously people who are have guide dogs, for the sake of argument, are very much welcome. And it is important to point out that these people with their dogs are allowed to go wherever they need to go, so that you can't refuse these people. And I think this is something that very much, needs to be highlighted. So it doesn't matter about your religion or your culture. It doesn't matter if there's food being served. It doesn't matter whether you dislike dogs or have a fear of dogs or are allergic to them. They are allowed to go. Please be mindful if people enter your premises with an assistance dog, and also be respectful, because particularly if somebody is partially sighted, ask them if they want help, because not everybody does, and ask them if they want to be led somewhere or just sort of kind of told where certain obstacles and things are, because the dogs are obviously trained to deal with it accordingly. Yes, so that may come up again, but again, just to raise awareness.
Brilliant. And then we're on to the Festive Light Switch On, which is on Saturday the 9th of November from 2 through to 7 p.m. The big man Santa Claus has been, he was
I think
on the
Mrs.
list.
Claus is coming actually
And
this
Mrs.
time
Claus
as well.
is coming this year as well. So he's going to be in his grotto at Knightsbridge on the parade, raising money for Rainbows as well. So again, going to a local children's hospice. And we're already up to £1,000 raised before we've even done the event.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
Up to £1,000.
Fantastic.
Someone that I know in a different part of England who is a bit of a Grinch when it comes to Christmas, I said, if we could raise some money and you dress up as an elf, will you do it? And so far everyone's chucked in £1,000 for him to dress up. So he's actually going to be making an appearance at the Clan Park.
Oh, not the Oadby.
It
doesn't matter at the end of the day.
But it is all for Rainbows. But what is going on the on the evening is one, there's going to be the real tree back this year as well. So great with all the decorations, with all the lights, tastefully decorated. I know we had to go back under the cover of darkness last year to redecorate it, but it was well worth it. There's going to be over 40 different kind of market stalls. All the stall spaces are now sold. So if you are thinking of coming along on the evening, there isn't any more space, unfortunately. But put it in your diary for next year and feel free to contact us. We'd love to see you. The lights are officially switched on at 6 p.m. It's going to be a great day. Even the weather doesn't dampen the spirits, but you're going to have all the shops open, the cafes open. Really is a great day.
It is always really busy, isn't it?
And the effort
really
that goes
busy.
in by the town centre traders to put that event on. Again, this year they've not had any funding from any of the kind of public authorities,
No,
so it's all been
themselves,
funded by people buying the stall spaces, by donations, all of those kind of things, just to keep that activity going. Then we've got something close to where we are now, which is the Christmas market at the Woodside Animal Centre on Scudamore Road, and that's running the 23rd to the 24th of November from 11 till 4, where there's going to be craft stalls, there's going to be, again, Santa, he's a busy chap this time of year,
yes.
going to be busy.
Yeah.
He's going to be making another appearance, children's activities, festive food and drink. So for more information, you can email ktm@rspcaleicester.org.uk. It will be on a Facebook page as well. But again, all the proceeds are going to go to the RSPCA Leicester branch of that. So it really is a great resource to have. And also just to touch on the dementia side within Oadby, because those of you that don't know, that Oadby is one of the first dementia-friendly town centres, where all the shop owners, but also colleagues that work within the shops, have had dementia training to help deal with any customers that come in, or even families associated with people that have dementia. And I know you've been through that training. It was quite enlightening.
We've been through the training, and we've also helped one or two people, but certainly a particular customer whose husband had or has dementia. She attended one of the group sessions and got a lot out of it, because it's the support they need.
Helped you understand it.
Yeah.
So part of that is Neil O'Brien has invited a group from Manor High School, as well as Jim. And those of you that don't know Jim, then obviously you've not been out in Oadby very much, but Jim from Seth's. Then a group of us are going down on the 18th of November to Westminster. We've been invited. We're taking our cameraman as well, so we're going to be able to give you a bit of behind the scenes look about what goes on down there. I know they're talking about a few things at the minute down in Westminster. They don't seem to agree on things. I can't think what the actual subject is.
I don't know what it is, no.
But keep an eye out for that, because we'll be releasing that and talking about that more in the December edition as well. And then finishing up, before we talk about where we are today, we've got the Beat Surgery at Oadby Library by Leicestershire Police, that's going to be hosted by PCSO Nad. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, we had this last time as well, didn't we?
So any policing issues that you may have, drop down, see him, and he'll be able to help you out. So lots going on, but we're with our guests today. So I think it's a special birthday this year for...
We are very soon going to be 50 as a company.
Wow.
Yeah, 22nd of December is our actual, incorporation date in '69. So very nearly 50 years old. It's been a long time, and at the same time it's gone in an instant. I would say that I wasn't there at the very beginning. It was my father that started the business in '69. I think I was...
Quick to point that out, wasn't he?
You did say that off air, didn't you? You did say... Oh, he looks good for his age.
I did, yeah. I said it quietly.
Right. Yeah, of course you did. Yeah, I was 2 at the time. So, but yeah, started basically. My father started it in a shed in Kibworth.
Wow.
Bringing in semi-finished plastics from Germany and selling them to the what used to be the National Coal Board. Yeah. And then sort of spent a couple of years there. Then bought a bought a small factory on the Oadby Industrial Estate.
Yeah.
Spent a few years there.
Yeah.
We have been quite nomadic over this time. We spent some time in Oadby, then got a little bit bigger, went up the road to Wigston, just behind where the McDonald's is now, just off the roundabout there.
Yeah, where Bishop and Bishop. And
behind Bishop and Bishops, and spent some good years there and grew a little bit more. Then desperately searched for somewhere else to go as we grew. Found a factory that used to be a part of Cora's over in Burbage, and spent a few more years there, and eventually ended up here on the Braunston Frith Industrial Estate. Wow. In about 95, I think.
So you had a good tour of Leicester.
Yeah, and then moved about 500 metres down the industrial estate to our latest site. Yeah. So we've been here since 2015. So it's taken, it's a long journey, but it's funny, it seems to have gone very, very quickly.
And I presume to help celebrate, you've got some plans lined up?
Yes, we've got a very large Christmas celebration. We have a Christmas party every year for all the staff. Yeah. We've got 8 sites throughout the country now, and everybody comes together with their partners, wives, girlfriends, boyfriends, etc. We're going over to Stratford-upon-Avon this year just to make a change. And it's going to be a really fun evening with live bands and things like that. So there'll be about 260 in total, I think. So there'll be quite a few of us.
That's got to be a big venue.
It's a lovely place, really lovely place on the river.
It's just an Oadby Plastics venue because there wouldn't be room for anybody else.
No, it's just us. Yeah, it is just us.
Take over.
Yeah. And then we've got Dan and Nima have been working on some ideas for next year to sort of help celebrate the 50th, and so we're going to do some charitable things. Over the last few years, we've worked with Alex's Wish, which is a local charity that specifically look at Duchenne's muscular dystrophy. Okay. Yeah. So we've done the Prudential Ride London the last 4 years for them, and things like that. So we'll be doing that again with them. And we'll probably look at the Yorkshire Three Peaks. I think there's talk of a couple of people trying to go to do the marathon, the London Marathon.
Yes. We need another challenge as well, don't we?
So there's a few challenges in the pipeline. I did the London Marathon 10 years ago. I certainly won't be doing it again. But I think, Dan, you'd be great at that.
Yeah, maybe not.
There you go. Nima, put him now, friend.
Yeah. You've got time to train.
Got plenty of time.
I've done the Paris Marathon. Brilliant. But I've stopped after that as well.
Brilliant experience. It's one of those bucket list things. And the crowd get you around.
Yeah,
because that's one thing.
What's your problem?
Exactly.
Getting on a bit now.
Youngsters today. There's a lot planned.
Well, there's 1:59 to beat now.
Yeah.
But no, that was one thing.
The half marathon, to be honest.
that was one thing I found. Obviously, with the company, I know a little bit more in terms of there's always been the kind of community involvement and the support. And when I picked up the phone to try and find someone to help with an Oadby Christmas tree, okay, that's not essentially for a charity, but it's for the community. And it brought a lot of happiness and joy to people when we were putting the tree up. People were commenting to say, "Oh, that's great," and I'm going to ring the council to tell them how good it is and say thank you to everyone. And you had people popping in to say thank you. And just
nice,
and just the whole kind of joy that brings. But no, so you have to keep us posted on that. So what's it like working at Oadby Plastics?
Yeah, really good.
Daniel?
Yeah. Obviously, I said I've been here.
He's not allowed to say anything.
Yeah. No, just kick me
loaded question.
Kick me under the table. No,
say what he likes.
Obviously, everyone says the same thing when they come in. It's family-run feel. Even if you were to go walking around the premises, everyone's friendly, chatting, and we do get that from people coming for interviews.
It's immaculately clean. That's one thing I noticed. Because we ended up in the trade counter festival, and even the trade counter
supposed to get lost.
I know, even the trade counter was immaculately clean, and I think everyone's perception of trade counters is maybe not so much that, but even the car park.
It's clean.
It's clean.
I think it's important that we portray a good image, and that's what we try to do. So
well, it's been noted clearly.
And you haven't just got a site in Leicester, have you?
No. This is basically this is our head offices, and this is our main distribution centre. We also do some machining here as well, because we do stock holding and machining. So with semi-finished plastic materials, we sell as is, so 1 sheet or 1,000 sheets, but we'll also cut, we will machine, we will route, mill, turn, we'll do whatever you want us to do, basically, as much as we can do. That's the idea. So we have a production facility here. We have a sister company down in Northampton that do our milling and turning work. That's ABG, rubber and plastic. It's all part of the same group. Then we have distribution centres in Warrington, Cannock and Swindon and Braintree. We have ABG down at Northampton for our milling and turning. We have a fabrication company down in Biggleswade. And then we have a distributor, which is Direct Plastics, another part of the group. They're up in Sheffield.
Wow.
They're moving to a new site very soon, actually. So,
exciting.
So there's always a lot going on, it seems.
So in terms of the finish, what if it's, because someone out there seeing Oadby Plastics, what is something that someone would know?
The plastics industry is such a, it's such a vast industry, and it obviously at the moment, especially with the high, the profile put onto single-use plastics, and and how we need to reduce that dramatically, and we do. There's we use a huge amount of recycled materials. The amount of material that we recycle that we use and then gets recycled once more, twice more, is huge now. That is very, very important. But we do need to obviously look at our responsibility of trying not to use single-use plastics in the first instance. So that's a global issue. But so as I say, we will do whatever is required. We have probably, I think, in the excess of about 3,000 tonnes of stock at any one time.
Wow.
We very much work on a just-in-time service. We've always worked on the principle that if you have it, you can sell it. So we always hold a large amount of stock. We deliver same day and next day. Next day on our own fleet of vehicles, so we guarantee a service.
Oh, brilliant.
It's all about the customer focus, and we want to give that service. Service is the most important thing, and we try and build a relationship at all times with our customers. We don't want the one-off and two-off. We want a long-term relationship with all our customers. And we're very, very lucky. We are very lucky.
So have you still got some of those customers from 1969?
You know what? Well, as I was only two, I wouldn't know. But we're very lucky that we've got a lot of very, very long-term partnerships. We're fortunate with the manufacturers that we use, which are predominantly European-based. We have one manufacturer still in the UK, which we work very closely with. And again, it's all about partnerships. We don't use lots and lots of different manufacturers' materials. We really just use a few people because... So
you kind of carry those same beliefs that you want to have with your customers down to the supply chain.
We don't chop and change. That's the most important thing. We want continuity of supply. We want quality products that we want to then pass on to our customers. That is vital. And we are very much about not letting people down. And it's we say people talk about overachieving and things, actually over-delivering, and you just need to do what you say you're going to do. And if somebody wants something on Friday, just give it to them on Friday. It's actually quite...
Don't wait for them to ring
Monday. It's actually quite straightforward. Just do what you say you're going to do and what you agree to do. And we do. We are very, very focused on trying to do that. And we're not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. But we try really, really hard. And that's key for us. As I say, 50 years. It's long time. Gone in but it has gone in a flash. And my first memories of when I was about 3 or 4 was going into this shed in Kibworth and with my dad and seeing the biggest spiders I've ever seen in my life. But then again, I was only 3 or 4, so they were only probably quite small. But so it is quite. It's really pleasing, and sadly lost my dad a few years ago. But he would be looking down. I think be really.
I think he'd
really
be
chuffed.
Proud and chuffed about
how things are
how it looks, and because it's not easy being in business.
No.
It's not easy for anyone to be in business, is it?
No, I think we need to try and make it as easy as we possibly can, though. You know, we very much look at trying to keep it as simple as possible and keep our processes as simple as possible. I think that's the key. When you overcomplicate things, it gets really difficult.
Yeah,
so.
and then you get too many people involved, and it all goes.
Fantastic.
And
Nima, you look after the marketing and the social media things. So
yeah, that's right.
Obviously, Neil doesn't want to handle that side of things.
Seeing
shares
being
the
a
odd post.
complete
Shares the odd post and likes it.
Yeah. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
So you look after all the social media and things. So you must be quite a busy lady.
Quite a busy person.
Yeah.
Handling, the sister companies as well as the 5 branches and making sure the pictures are all up to date.
Yeah.
Recently we just got our corporate video released on YouTube.
Yes.
Pretty much just.
Well,
making
what
sure
about a perfect time to actually show our people at home what this corporate video looks like?
Yeah.
So let's show you a bit of what Oadby Plastics is all about. That's an absolutely brilliant. You must be pleased with how that's turned out.
Really good. We've never done anything like that before.
No.
So really
the customer
brilliant.
feedback has been like what you said, clean. Didn't realise the size of Oadby. And obviously the services.
The sun was out that day.
It was. We got one day. We had one day this year to get it done.
You planned that really
well.
We
How
did you know?
We booked it 4 years ago.
Booked in advance. So I think we're going to go on a little bit of a tour just to show everyone back at home because it is a terrific place. So give people a bit of a glimpse. Let's go and have a bit of a nose around, shall we?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Fantastic.
So this is our production facility. This is where we do a lot of our CNC routing. As I said earlier, our CNC milling and turning is done down in Northampton predominantly. So we have a real mixture in here of modern computer-controlled machines, and then at the other half of the factory we have very much more traditional machines. We still do a lot of traditional manual routing, manual machining work. Some of our machines are from the old Wadkin company, and I think 3 or 4 of them are getting, they're certainly older than the company. But there's a great need for them, and there are certain things that you can do on these new modern machines, and there's certain things you can't. So anyway, look, we'll follow around. So these machines, they work in 3 and 5 axis, but we do a vast array of machining, any industry. It's very, very general. We've just done a very large order for a cheese manufacturer, for bases for cheese molds.
Oh, okay.
We've done swimming pool floors.
Yeah.
We've done fire engine bodies.
Wow.
So it's a real
Yeah.
eclectic mix
Yeah.
of work that we do. If it can be machined in plastics, we'll machine it, basically. So then, once we come out of the CNC side of things, where we then, as I said a moment ago, we go onto the manual machining side.
Okay.
We do a huge amount of work for the conveying industry and bottling and canning.
Okay. Yeah.
To help keep the bottles and cans from falling off the side of conveyors. And again, that's something that with our more traditional machining on a spindle moulder here, we're doing large sections of wear strip that will be, you'll have chain running on this, normally metal chain or plastic chains. And whilst you can machine that on the CNCs, it's a lot quicker doing it manually.
Right.
It's a lot more productive.
And
So,
I suppose that kind of thing wears out, does it?
and it does, yeah. The idea is for that to wear out and not the chain to wear out, because the chain is more expensive.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there is a place always for the traditional machines as well as the new technology. It works very, very well. Just mind the forklift. Thanks, Darren. So then, this was when we moved. This was the one of the original structures. We kept this because we desperately needed to move. And then here we put on we tacked on the new building, basically. And so on here we have basically both sides of the entrance. We have our CNC beam saws. And again, that's just a very much more modern way of doing basic cutting work. We have large scale sheets. The largest sheets we do generally are 3 meters by 2 meters, and then we will cut them down to size for the customer, just to make it easier for them to handle. And as I said earlier, we will sell straight sheets as is, and then they can do what they want to do with it. But ideally, we want to try and do as much as possible to add value in, and also to help the customer for ease, because they're not the easiest things to handle. So if we can cut them down and make them ready for our customer to do something with them, it just makes it much easier. So that's what these do, and they do it very quickly, which is the great thing. So this area is always slightly darker because we have solar panels, which actually makes a big difference for us. So we create a lot of our own electricity, which is brilliant. And we have that on all the new sites that we've built.
Right. Okay.
We stock up to 7 meters in height. We use a range of reach trucks and counterbalance trucks. Because it's big product. It takes up a lot of room. That's that's one of the issues. But as I said, the idea is having a lot of stock. We have, this is where our main stock is held, but we also have large stocks in our other distribution centres, because the key to it is being able to deliver the product. That's what matters.
If the customer wants it, they want it there.
And they want it, they want it now. And if you haven't got it, you can't sell it. We've always worked on that principle. There you go.
So that's been a great tour of Oadby Plastics. And I know something that we were talking about off camera on the way round was you're getting an association with Oadby Town Football Club.
Yes. I think, over the last few years, things have been difficult down there. And again, obviously, being an Oadby company, they've got a lot of plans for growth down there. And so we put a sponsorship package with them together. Spoke to Miles Graham, who's their chairman now. They've got a lot of ideas. And so we're happy to help. And, I always remember going down there as a kid, so it's important that we support.
But, I mean, it's great. I mean, I go down to Ayleston Park to watch them on sometimes in the FA Vars, and it's great to just be involved in the community. But also, there's some good football that goes on.
So one of the key the drivers for it was My business partner, Mark Rohan, who's one of the directors, he actually used to play for
Oadby
Town years and years ago. So he was very keen to support.
He doesn't want to get his boots and shorts out again then.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be that hard up. I mean, he was very good in his time, but probably I think it's a little bit too late.
So everyone, they have to keep an eye out for the support and the advertising boardings.
Yeah, a lot of the advertising is going to be going up in the next few days.
Oh, fantastic! Brilliant.
It'll be, it'll be a real step forward for them.
Well, thank you very much for your time in having a look round.
Pleasure.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Nima. It's been a real pleasure. So we're going to be back for our December Christmas edition of Love Oadby TV. You'll see that from the 1st of December on Facebook, on YouTube. If you would like your business featuring, whether or not you're retail or an industrial business, business to business, then we'd love to hear from you. Drop us a line at info@loveoadby.co.uk or follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, and we'll see you back in December.